Good day, learners! Today, we're gonna talk about the three laws of motion. First law of motion is the law of inertia. Now, let's find out what the word inertia means. Inertia means the ability of an object to resist any change in motion or any change in an object's present state. It is said that mass is a measure of an object's inertia. It only means that less mass, less inertia. Lighter objects are easy to be moved. On the other hand, objects with larger mass has larger inertia, which means heavy objects are difficult to be moved. A fully loaded cart is obviously difficult to be moved than a cart with no loads. The law of inertia states that an object at rest remains at rest. An object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an external net force. This ball will stay at rest unless you apply some force to make the ball move. An object will never move unless a force is applied. And on the second part of the statement, a moving object will never stop moving unless you apply some force to make it stop moving. So that's the first law of motion. Now, I have some inertia experiment which you may try at home. All you need is a glass, a cardboard, and a coin. Suddenly pull the cardboard and see what happens to the coin. Initially, the coin is at rest, and it will stay at rest unless a force is applied to it. So the coin will just fall inside the glass since force is not applied directly to the coin. Same is true as when you ride on a vehicle. Always use a seat belt because when the car suddenly stops, your body tends to move forward. Your body, which is already in a state of motion, will never stop moving unless there is a force that's gonna stop it. And it's gonna be the seat belt, which has a tension force to stop the motion of your body. Now let's talk about the second law of motion, which is the law of acceleration. The second law states that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on an object and inversely proportional to its mass. Let's elaborate first the relationship between force and acceleration, which is direct proportion. That's when lesser force, slower acceleration, and with greater force, faster acceleration. A small amount of force would move an object slower than with greater amount of force. Now, the relationship between mass and acceleration is inverse proportion. That's when with less mass, faster acceleration, and with larger mass, slower acceleration. It only means that lighter objects can be moved faster than heavy objects. The law of acceleration is expressed in this formula, where F is equal to the force in Newton, m is the mass in kilogram, and a is the acceleration in meters per second squared. That's force is equal to mass times acceleration. Now let's try to answer this sample problem number 1. You can pause the video and try to compare your answer later. The given values in the problem is 1,500 kilogram and 5 meters per second squared. The unknown is the force, and the formula is force is equal to mass times acceleration. For the solution, force is equal to mass, which is 1,500 kilogram, times acceleration, which is 5 meters per second squared. So 1,500 times 5, the answer is 7,500 Newton. Now try to answer this sample problem number 2. The given values are 0.5 kilogram and 2 Newton. Unknown is the acceleration. Formula for acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. Solution: acceleration is equal to the force, which is 2 Newton, divided by mass, which is 0.5 kilogram. So the answer is acceleration is equal to 4 meters per second squared. Did you get it right? Now try to answer the sample problem number 3. The given values for this problem is 300 Newton and 2 meters per second squared. Unknown here is the mass. Formula for mass is equal to force divided by acceleration. For the solution, mass is equal to the force, which is 300 Newton, divided by the acceleration, which is 2 meters per second squared. So the answer would be 150 kilogram. Just memorize the formula for you to get the correct answer. Now let's proceed to the third law of motion, which is the law of interaction. This law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This law is also known as the action-reaction. Example is when you are playing a skateboard, the action is you pushing on the ground, and there is an equal and opposite reaction of the ground pushing on you. Second example is pushing a wall. The action here is you pushing the wall, and the reaction is the wall also has an equal and opposite reaction pushing on you. The third example is when you are rowing a boat. The action is the man pushes the water backward, and the reaction is the water pushes the boat forward. The same concept is applied on space rockets. The action is hot gas comes out, and the reaction is the rocket moves up. So that's it. I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.